Hey guys. Hello. Yeah, I'm not muted, right? You can hear me? Yes. Okay, good. Hello. Uh, hey Adam. Hey Mike. Let's see. Hey, hello. Other Mike, Mike Rinaldi and Mike Skyers. Cody, Ariano, Matt, Alvin. Let's see. Hey guys. Ra. And let's see. Anybody watching over there on Twitch? Say hello. And why do I get the notification? Oh, they got me. Oh, sorry, you got the notification for a live stream and I was not started yet. Pixel Ninja, Dianjo, what's going on? Wesley, Michael, Brendan, what's going on? Daniel, and everybody. Dim, Ben W, Gojira. Hey, yeah, it's a pretty cool looking kit, and I think it's gonna be a pretty quick live stream because even though it's a pretty sizable kit, it doesn't use any polycaps, which should be interesting. And just when I was preparing the kit, like, am I silent? You guys can't hear me? You can't hear me, right? Why is Ben saying I'm silent? Everyone else seems to be able to hear me. You can hear me, right? I can see my mic level, and it looks fine. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, when I was cutting out the parts and getting rid of all the nubs and everything, just getting all the parts ready and everything, that process also went very fast. So, like, it was a very quick kit to prep up, which means it'll probably be a pretty quick... I'm silent on the issues that really matter. Oh, sorry. What was that? I don't know. Now you're throwing me off. Deandra, thank you for using the super chat there. For another Zaku Borealis. Show the stream. Should I change my name to Zaku Borealis? That reminds me of Half-Life, which I love, so I kind of like that. When are we getting the God Hand face mask? I don't know. Okay, alright. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, yeah. It was a pretty quick kit to prep up, so I think it'll be a pretty quick build. The master here. And also last night, I built up the Wadam pod as well. I don't plan on live stream building that. I just built it up at home last night, the Wadam pod, and it was also a really fast build. So... this month's HG kits are pretty quick ones. What's that, the Age Magnum, what's the other new one that just came out? I don't have that yet, that's coming soon. I think that one will probably take a little bit longer to put together because it's a little bit more of like a proper, like, traditional HG kit, or usual HG kit. This one and the Wadam pod are both obviously a little bit different. Are you planning to paint this kit anytime soon? Gail, no plans to paint this kit anytime soon. I'm in the process of finishing a couple of builds, and then this section over here is all other works in progress that I would like to take on. So at the moment, for the time being, I'm going to try not to take on any new painted projects until I want to work on knocking out a few works in progress that have just kind of been sitting around for a long time that I'd like to finish some of those up. So that's my goal. That said, the kit that will be my next review, I don't want to spoil the surprise for you guys, but after the live stream today, I'm gonna edit that review and then post that later today or tonight. That kit I'm very tempted to paint up sooner than later, because I think it'll be a really quick one. But every time I think that, it never ends up actually being the case. But in this case, I think it actually will be a pretty quick kit to build up and paint up. So the next review. And yes. Let's see. What's going on, Ricardo? Why do you need a branded face mask? Just however works. Oh, okay. Yes. I really like the Messer for being a hybrid of Xeon and Federation mobile suit design principles. Yeah, it's got a quite unique design, definitely. Honestly, a little bit. I mean, this definitely. I mean, it's definitely for the best that this came out as a like a standard release and not a P-Bandai kit. But honestly, I think I wouldn't have been surprised if Bandai would have made this a P-Bandai kit, to be honest. But I don't know. Of course, I'm glad that they didn't, but I could have seen them going that way, even though it's an entirely new kit, right? They've done that before, certainly. I guess I'm just thinking that probably because they did that, like, with the Zaku III after Twilight Axis, but that was just like a recolor basically. So, I mean, it wasn't a totally new kit, and I think comparing Hathaway's Flash to Twilight Axis is probably not fair because it's gonna be much more of a thing than Twilight Axis was, like just kind of barely a thing. Also, let me see. Ragey Gamer, what did you say? Are you familiar with Bubblegum Crisis? I would like to see some kits from the anime series. Also, I'd like to see some Mospeda kits. Bubblegum Crisis, yeah, the name rings a bell. I recognize the name, but I don't remember like what the mechas look like or anything. I haven't seen it, the anime. But any other various mecha kits, I'm always down for. Like yesterday, I just recorded the unboxing for the Obsolete Exoframe kits, the two that previously came out, and then kind of by coincidence, by a very strange coincidence, yesterday I just did my unboxing for those. So I'm gonna build those up maybe like this weekend. And like yesterday, also there was an announcement of like 4 new Exoframe Obsolete kits that are coming out later towards the end of the year. So it's a very interesting coincidence. Like, I did the unboxing, and then I went online, and I saw, oh, there's some new ones coming out. Okay. So that'll be cool. Just my first impression of those, just recording the unboxing yesterday, was that I think they're going to be pretty cool little kits. And emphasis on little kits. They're not going to be very large at all. So, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to building those up. Don't think that I'm going... Damn, that's too loud. Don't think I'm going to be live streaming the building of those kits necessarily because... Hang on. There we go. Because they're kind of like Machine and Krieger kits in a way. Like, they have, I think, I don't know, I haven't built them yet, but they seem like they probably have a little bit more like articulation than a typical Machine and Krieger 1/35 scale kit. Especially 1/35 scale, yeah. But they're kind of like very detailed and you have to glue some parts and everything, so just not the kind of thing that can just like snap up for a review very easily like that, I think. So probably won't live stream that building process, but I'll be building those pretty soon here and sharing that with you guys. So anyway, point is, yeah, I'm all for other non-Gundam mecha kits coming out. I'm always interested in trying them out. If it's a design that I like, so I'm not into every design always, but let's see, that's right? These shoulder joints for this kit are kind of interesting. Bubblegum Crisis has the motorcycles that become mechas in the main suit characters. I mean, like, that's ringing a bell. I still can't exactly picture exactly what they look like, but that does ring a bell anyway. Let's see. XN Sever say, if you're being sponsored by Adam, does that mean that your kits ship from Japan to Florida and then from Florida to South Korea? No. I get my kits locally here, but they're just sponsored by USA Gundam Store. it would be like pretty ridiculous for that to be the case. Like for Adam to send them to me from Florida, they go from Japan to Florida and then back to South Korea. It would take forever to. You're going to customize this messer? Buck asked. I customize. I'm not sure. You know, honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I do think that I like the design, but I'm not exactly even sure how much I like the design quite yet. I did like the design. What I had seen of it before it was coming out as an HGUC kit, when I just seen it like as a resin kit every now and then. I'd seen it around online, and the resin kit looked cool, but I think the resin kit looks better than this Bandai kit, to be honest. So yeah, that's not to say that like I'm planning on getting the resin kit, because I'm not. But what I mean to say is I'm not totally sold on the design of this kit, actually, to be honest. At least to the degree that I could think about how I would want to customize it. Like, I'm sure that I like it enough that I'll want to paint it eventually. Oh shoot, I was supposed to put these side parts on first. Oops. But as for, let's see, I think it doesn't really matter. The manual says to put these side parts on first before the top parts, but it doesn't seem to matter. As for doing any sort of customization to this kit, I don't know. Don't really have any ideas regarding that at the moment, and no plans for that, but we'll see. It's kind of like the Gustav Karl in that it's a really pretty massive, thick kit with not a very big gun. The gun on this kit is definitely a little bit more substantial than what the Gustav Karl had. But I think giving this kit like a bigger, massive gun would be pretty cool because it's such a big, thick kit. But I have access to Eva Gaia notes locally. Actually, offhand, as far as I can remember, I am not sure if I've ever seen Eva Gaia notes kits here in Korea. I'm sure probably there are some. But the Eva paints that I have are either bought myself in Japan or my friend in Japan sent them to me. Ricardo, I don't know if Ricardo's still watching live, but Ricardo, if you're still watching, thanks again. Ricardo helped me out getting those from Japan. So yeah, and then like I said, some I bought myself there. Probably can get them here. I haven't checked. But let's see. Definitely, at least what I can tell so far too, is that this kit is better engineered than the Gustav Karl as well. Ricardo is still here. Thank you. This kit does seem to be better engineered than the Gustav Karl, I think, which is good. That was another one where I liked the design of the kit, but when the kit actually came out, I wasn't that big into the kit itself. It's like, and that's kind of what I'm feeling with this one as well. But I think because this one seems to have some better engineering involved, I'm thinking that maybe I'm gonna like this kit more than I liked the Gustav Karl. But like I said, we'll find out here soon enough. So far I can definitely say that the build is more interesting. It's a very, just so far, like these parts that I'm putting together, the way that I'm building this, couldn't say that I ever have built an HG kit that's exactly like this one is, so that's got to count for something. Certainly is a unique build, I think. That goes on there. Like that. Like, just look at like the way this torso goes together is so different. Which is a good thing. Got that. This one here. And this one here. and that one into there, and that'll be also, you can see like a lot of, not a lot, but some recent. Hey, what's going on, Jim? Glad to see you there. Chris Patrick said, does USA Gundam Store ship to New Zealand? I'm sure that they can. There's Adam, he can answer your question for you. Yeah, they can, but international shipping, of course, is pretty expensive, but yeah, you can check that out. As we talked about in I think not the last, but the one before that episode with Adam live there on the USA Gundam TV channel, we talked about this, and basically what you can do if you're interested in the price, if you're living outside of America and interested in using USA Gundam Store, you can go to the site and add the stuff to your shopping cart, whatever you want to buy, and then go like to check out and put in your location. You can see how much the shipping is going to be. But like, isn't that, I just recently heard about this and didn't really know that this was a thing, but isn't it like bad for online stores when you put stuff in your cart and then don't buy it? So if you do that and decide not to buy stuff on the store, then maybe delete the stuff out of your shopping cart, because I think, as far as I heard recently, that causes problems for the site. Skyhook, thanks for using the super chat there. And let me see here. What did you say? I noticed that you mentioned painting the kits that you reviewed. Do you plan on showing the painted kits in later videos? Well, anything that I paint, you guys will see. I don't actually paint every single kit that I review. I would love to, but I just don't have the time. It's impossible. There's no way I could do that. I would love to paint every kit straight away. That would be a lot of fun. There's only 24 hours in a day though, so it's just not possible. I think that what, hang on. Whatever just again, whatever. Jim, painting the PG Phoenix, not gonna happen. What's going on, Brian? How am I today? I'm good. Yeah, painting every single kit that comes out. This is something that I think I've been on the fence about this, whether I want to talk about this or not. Honestly, like, I wanted to make a video regarding this, and I think that I will at some point. I just have been on the fence about it and I haven't gotten around to it, but here's the deal. I'll just chat about it here a little bit with you guys now while we're here, and then maybe I can get some feedback from you guys that might be helpful before I make an actual video out of it. But there's a bit of a trend, I think it's kind of like a recent trend as far as I can tell, I think, of like content creators, Gunpla content creators online these days that do have a really fast turnaround output of painted kits. And just side note, this is really cool. I like this backpack, how these top and bottom flaps both open up and the middle part also moves too. It's like that bottom one moves, that moves, that moves. That's actually quite cool. I like that. There's a bit of a trend these days of YouTube content creators that put out painted builds very fast, and like that's, I don't know, in not always, but in some cases that's like the main thing of their content is like just doing painted builds, which is fine. It's cool. I have thought about doing that at times, but I do enjoy doing reviews, so I would feel kind of sad to not do reviews of kits as well too, and just only do painted builds. But I have also noticed too that a lot of these builders just seem to kind of like skip basic steps though too, like sanding, even like priming at some points. I can see like there's seam lines, visible nub marks and things like that. So I think I talked about this a little bit with the guys in my Discord server, actually, a little while back. But I just don't know how I feel about that. I think, like, in my personal opinion, I think that if you're gonna be a content creator sharing like painted works like that, I guess there's two ways that it can go. One way that you're just showing off your own work, which in that case it doesn't really matter that much, or like you're meaning for your work to be sort of information for people, like how to do painted stuff. So I guess if it's the case that you're just showing off your own work, then it probably doesn't matter that much. But if you're meaning for your work and your content to be educational for people to paint, then I think you're doing a disservice to your audience by not putting in the work, not showing the kind of quote-unquote proper way to build. And the problem with that then too is that there is no proper way to build. I mean, you build and paint to however you like. If you like building and painting your kits and you don't really care about seam lines, nub marks, like doing proper sanding and everything, priming your kits, if you can build like without doing some of these essential steps and you're happy with the results, then that's fine. I think, honestly, that wouldn't bother me at all. But I just feel like if you're a content creator who's making content that you want to be educational for people, then in my opinion, you do have a responsibility to do it right, or you should do it right. Maybe not responsibility is maybe not the right word for that, but I just think that you should do it right. So that's why when I do painted builds and stuff, I take my time with it. I mean, even though I know probably no one is ever gonna see the kit like really up close, and because that's the thing, when you're seeing the kit on YouTube, when you're seeing these builds on YouTube, or Instagram, whatever, you're not really seeing it in super detail. You're not really seeing it you can see some of these errors, but most people are not going to. Most people are just going to see it and think, wow, it looks great, it looks so good. It's only when you look at it closely that you can see, oh, actually this seam line was not sanded enough, or you can see some nub marks around here or there, like you didn't prime the kit, so like you can see like the back side of the pieces are like still in the original color. Like, for example, if I was painting this kit and I just painted this whole front skirt armor here and I didn't paint the back part at all, the back part would still be this maroon color, like that. So, I don't know. I think that's not good for the community. When people do like that, don't build properly, but are sharing their work with a massive audience like that. But I don't know, at the same time, like, it's not that big of a deal. Who cares, right? But I don't know. Wesley, thanks for using the super chat there. What if you live stream the review in a basic way, run through articulation accessories? I have thought about doing live reviews. I have thought about that, but I just don't think that it would be very good. Charles said, I just got into building models. I just ordered my first kit, which is the Eva kit. Thanks for getting me into Gunpla. Any tips? No. I assume you're talking about the RG Evangelion kit. Didn't specify which one, but I assume you're talking about the RG. And no tips, but just take it slowly. Follow the instructions carefully. If stuff is not fitting together properly, don't force it. Just double check, make sure you're putting it together properly. Make sure you're using the correct parts. And just take it slow. Ron, how's the build so far? It's very cool so far. Very different from anything else. What are the flaws with non-polycap Gunpla kits? I don't know, really. It just kind of depends on the kit. To be perfectly honest, like between kits with polycaps and with polycaps, I've never really noticed much of a difference to formulate an opinion on whether I prefer or think that kits with polycaps have better performance or kits without polycaps have better performance. Honestly, like, yeah, I've just never noticed enough of a difference to want to say one way or the other. Yeah, some content creators do put a ton of work into their kits, of course. No question about it. I don't know. So, sorry for the rant on that, guys, and I guess it's a good thing to rant to try to clarify my ideas, because if I do ever end up making a video on the topic, I should probably clarify maybe a bit more what exactly I mean to say about that. Someone asked, are there any visible seams? So far, no seam lines on this kit, yeah. So far, nothing. And based on, what I've seen so far of just getting the parts ready and everything, I don't think there are going to be any seam lines on this kit, actually. Acid Blade, thank you for using the super chat. I really appreciate that. I've always used files instead of sanding when getting ready to remove seam lines and painting. What is it about sanding the kit that people like? To me, it just seems unnecessary. Okay, sanding before painting does a number of things. Where do I start? Hasaki, what's going on, man? The importance of sanding everything, I mean, you don't have to sand every single nook and cranny around the kit, but the main reasons why it's important to sand, at least as much as you can. Number one is that it gives the surface better grip for the paint. The paint will grip the surface better on a little bit rough surface. I mean, you don't want to sand it like with 200 or 400 grit super rough sanding paper and then paint it. Then you're gonna see all the sanding marks. But sanding it and like progressively sanding it to be so that it's smooth, but that's just smooth enough, like to the eye and to the paint will look smooth, but it's actually more rough than just the straight up plastic when you're just spraying the paint on there. So sanding helps your paint stick. Sanding also will make sure that the surface is flat too. A surface that looks flat is in many cases not actually perfectly flat. You'll either have a sink, the plastic will have a slight concave in it, or you'll have like a little like lip around the edge of the part, like from just the molding process. It's like where the mold line runs along the edge of the part. So instead of, this is going to be a very rough visual of this, but like if this is the edge of your part, instead of being a perfect 90-degree angle, it'll actually be pointed up a slight bit. I don't know if it's or just to exaggerate it, it'll be like that instead of being perfectly straight on the edge. So sanding it just makes sure that you get a nice flat surface, which also very important to look good. And that's kind of like the main things, I guess. And then just mold lines as well too. I mean, like that kind of goes into what I was just saying, but just mold lines. I can't tell you how many times I've been disappointed to see work from modelers who I like. I mean, it doesn't really matter if I like the person or not. I just mean I like their work. I like their work, or just like I think that their work generally is really good, Like, they make good work, but then I can see like mold lines on the kit that have not been sanded away, were not removed before the painting process. That's always disappointing. You can start back up. All right, see you later, Greg. Yeah, it's disappointing when you see mold lines on a kit, because you should really sand those away. So those are kind of like the main reasons why we sand. So I mean, based off of that, you can understand why it's not necessary to sand, you know, like every single tiny little surface and corner and everything like that. Some people too do get pretty intense with it, but yeah, you don't need to get super crazy. I mean, I do sand quite a bit, but to at least address the issues that I just mentioned, you should at least sand with those issues in mind. If you got all your surfaces, you know, looking good, all the edges all nice and smooth, or, you know, sharp, however they need to be. And so that's the kind of thing too, like sanding like that does take a while. Ricardo, you're gonna add mold lines to your next painted build. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. I'll be happy to see it. But yeah, like, you can tell. So like, that's the thing. Like on some of these builds, like what I'm talking about, where you can tell that the builders didn't spend enough time doing their surface prep, because you'll see mold lines and just the surfaces aren't flat. How are these stickers supposed to fit on here? On a side note, I guess just like this. Uh-huh. That just goes on there like that, I guess. What grit do you use to help paint stick to the part? Usually I go up to around like 800 or 1,000. I usually find is good enough for me, but a lot of people will go higher to 12 or 1,400, if not higher. It just depends. Like, I do a fair amount of sanding, so I'm relatively patient, but I'm not patient enough to do that much sanding. So that's just me. I usually find that around 800 or 1,000 is usually smooth enough for me, or I'm not like, once the paint is on there, I'm not seeing like rough surfaces or anything. But you know, if you're using that, like if you're using 800 and you're finding that then when you're spraying your paint you can still see like some rough surfaces from the painting, then, you know, then go back and do some more sanding. Yeah, those little yellow stickers that wrap around there, not really great. Let's see. here. And we do have... Is the mono eye movable or not? Because on the sticker sheet we have 3 stickers for the mono eye, so that usually means that the mono eye is not movable. It's just that you have multiple stickers to be able to just change the sticker if you wanted to change the pose with it looking off to the side or something like that. But it looks like the mono eye is movable, so I'm not really sure why we have extra stickers. I guess just to have extras. Man, car modelers go up to like 20k. Yeah. You don't need to get super crazy with it. Because having the mono eye straight dead in the center is maybe not for the best, because then you can't see it. It's behind that part there. I guess maybe I should move that a little bit. Move the sticker down. And we'll turn that a little bit off to the side so that you can actually see it. Now it just looks like I put it on off center. Turn it more to the side so it's obvious. Well, it can't turn it all that much farther to the side actually. You can only turn it a little bit. Let's turn it off. No, I don't want to. Hang on. I want it to be in the center. Anyway. Very cool alien head. It's a very kind of similar head design to the Ifrit. Definitely prefer the Ifrit's head though, to be honest. But this one is pretty interesting as well too. Seems like the neck joint is pretty nicely engineered too. Oh man, the ball joint sits up really far in the head there though, doesn't it? You can move the neck joint allows you to lift this part up to bring the head down there, but as far as like being able to point the head up is just not going to happen. So, all right. Let's move on to the legs then. Lorenz, hello. Zach, when is the next magazine review? Perhaps one of the recent Master Archives. I didn't have any plans for when the next one is going to be, but I was thinking about that myself yesterday or the day before, so next week, I guess, probably. I don't know if I'll get to one this week, but next week, definitely. And yeah, I can do one of the Master Archives. I have a couple, maybe not. I have one or two. I have two. Yeah, I have the Full Armor Gundam and the Victory Gundam. So, Hasaki, which one do you want? Full Armor Gundam or Victory Gundam? Master Archive review next week. I'll let you choose. Okay, legs. Feet. Full Armor Gundam? Alright, I probably could have guessed that, but fair enough. I think that one's newer, isn't it? The Full Armor one came out more recently, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yeah, man, aside from those couple kind of annoying stickers, other than those, to slow me down a little bit, this kit is definitely a pretty quick build. Okay, the other stickers go up on the top of the arm. Okay. Lorenz, how's the build so far? The build so far is pretty good. Very interesting, very different. So, that's good. A lot of these sections are like not having a polycap, but like this section, like here for the top of the hip, this part is acting as what would normally be a polycap on a regular kit. And I mean, it's shaped exactly the same, or basically the same. So, I mean, it's still doing essentially kind of the same thing as a polycap does, just not as a polycap. And I think this is the wrong part for this actually, or I've got this backwards. I think I had it backwards. There we go. So very interesting. And because of the size of this kit, it's probably, of course, it's for the best that they didn't use polycaps for it. I don't think that would have just handled the weight very well, but I mean, we'll see. It's nice building a kit once as well. Currently doing decals on the Psycho Zaku. Oof. Well, you'll be spending a lot more time doing those Psycho Zaku decals than I will be. I think I'll be done long before you. Let's see. Got that, and then we got these little yellow vent parts on here. And it's going there. Are there any visible seams? No. Again, so far there's not any seam lines on this kit. I mean, here on the front of the thigh, the seam is just made up as a panel line. So I mean, if you don't like that panel line detail there, then you could get rid of that. But that's there, like that. Otherwise, no. So far on the torso and the head, and backpack and everything, there's no seam lines anywhere. And it's all just quite interesting how this goes together without polycaps. And just the engineering in general. This is quite interesting for this kit. Doesn't seem like anything like super groundbreaking or anything, but where does that part go? Let's see. This part goes down over the top of there, like that. Okay. Then this part here on the back, like that. Just go ahead and pop our foot on there as well. I think we can, right? Oh, this part needs to go up in there, actually. Better take the foot out first. Matthew, you clip all your parts before building. Yeah, usually. For Gunpla kits, almost always, yes. Non-Gunpla stuff, not always. But yeah, just to, if you're unfamiliar with how I usually do these live streams, yeah, I cut out all the parts, separate them, cut off all the nubs and everything ahead of time so that I'm not boring you guys with just a bunch of nub removal. But there's the big chunky leg, and it's very chunky. And seems pretty solid. I mean, I don't know if I've ever, well, that's gonna be a problem. I don't know if I've ever seen a kit with thighs like this one. It's got some massive bulk in the thighs. Usually that's something that you, like, if you wanted, you have to add to the kits, because more often than not, the thighs are too thin. If you wanted like them to be a little more bulky, you usually have to cut and plot plate them, bulk them out. But these are very bulky. I can't imagine very many people are going to want to bulk these out any more than they already are. But yeah, when you move the leg up, that front skirt popping off very easily, so that's a little bit annoying. only bit of the engineering of this kit so far that I've noticed that I don't really think was done in the best way. I think they could have engineered that front skirt to be on there in a better way to not be popping off like that, but because of the very unique design of the skirting armor for this, I guess I can understand that. But anyway, let's get the other leg builds up. I don't know, like, I mean, I'm with you guys. I like a good thick mobile suit, but these legs, they might be on the border of being almost too thick for me, to be honest. They almost actually look just fat, not like, I don't know what would be a good example of another kit that just has big, thick legs. I don't know. Can't think of one off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm not sure I'm actually sold on the thickness of this kit, especially in the legs there. Too thick? I mean, okay, let me get the other leg built up here, and then we'll take a critical look at the thickness of this kit. Because yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you guys, I'm not sure. Now that I'm seeing it actually built up, maybe my mind will change once, you know, if the kit is totally done. It's kind of unfair to rate it before everything's put together, but I don't know. The leg's just looking kind of fat. Like, not in like a cool, thick mecha way. You will like it more once the whole thing gets done. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see here. Definitely who'd have thought that a kit could be too thick, but I don't know. We'll see. Definitely. Thickness aside, I mean, definitely the engineering of this kit is great. I can say that with certainty. There's no seam lines on it so far. The arms will be the final test for how much, if we're gonna have any seam lines on here. I know we might have a seam line on the rifle, which again, for an HG, shouldn't be surprising at all. If you're gonna have a seam line anywhere on an HG kit, it's probably gonna be on its rifle. But let's see, is that gonna pop onto there any further than that? Yeah, these front skirts are annoying though too. Maybe that's as far as that goes on there. I mean, it's kind of like, the legs, in a weird way, sort of remind me a little bit of like Zaku legs, because they have a kind of similar kind of fat, bulbous shape to them. But they're like kind of between Zaku legs and Dom legs. Dom legs, you know, huge bell bottoms, which are cool. Zaku legs, they got that bulbous shape to them, but still pretty cool. This is like kind of somewhere in between. That they're kind of like got the massiveness and like all the thruster bells and everything, like the Dom, especially like the side view is kind of very much like a Dom. The front view is a little bit more like a Zaku, but I think it's these vents in the front is what's kind of throwing me off. I don't know. We'll see. Would make a cool base for a custom Zaku III kit badge. Yeah, Mike, that's actually a good idea. What you I mean, aside from just doing a Zaku 3 kit bash, but I just mean like if Bandai were to remake the Zaku 3 kit like this, like in the same way that, because I mean it's very similar just in terms of its size and shape. So if they were to remake the HGUC Zaku 3, like with kind of basically like all the engineering, like pretty much the same engineering that this kit has, it would be great. That'd be awesome. Don't think that that's going to happen, because I just don't think the Zaku 3 is popular enough to get a redesign like that. But it was like one of the very first HGUC kits, so I mean, it's certainly due. Zaku 3 needs an MG. That would be a cool MG, for sure. That would be another one too, where I think if they made that MG similar to the Zaku Warrior, where it's like a little bit more of like the simpler HG, like the Zaku Warrior or the Jagan. Obviously, the Jagan, very different design. The Zaku Warrior, a little bit more similar design-wise, but those MGs are the kind of like more simple, modern style HGs. If they were to make a simple, modern MG, like did I say HG? MG. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. If they were to make a MG Zaku 3 that was a little bit more towards that kind of like simple engineering, simplified engineering, like we've seen with the Zaku Warrior, yeah, that'd be great. I think that would be perfect for that. An RE100 Zaku 3 would also be like very similar to what I'm talking about, because as I mentioned in my review of the Zaku Warrior, I felt that it was kind of like somewhere in between Master Grade and RE100. But yeah, although it saddens me to say that at this point it just seems like kind of, what's the word I want to say? Hopeless? But not hopeless. I don't feel that it's hopeless. I just feel like there's not a lot of point. It's pointless, I guess, is the word I'm searching for. There's not a lot of point to wishing or hoping about any RE100 kits. Now, we have our first seam line on this kit. First and maybe only seam line on the main body anyway. I'm sorry to report to you guys, is here on the back of the arm. Seam line right there. So that's disappointing. They made the whole kit. I mean, like, seam lines on an HG is not surprising at all, shouldn't be surprising at all to anyone. But after going through the process of building all the rest of the kit without any seam lines and then getting to this point, it is a little bit disappointing, I'll be honest. I do feel a bit disappointed that we got this far without any seam lines, and the engineering has been very good, and I've been praising it. And now to get to this point and have just this big seam line on the back of the arm, sad times. Seem like 5 out of 10, no buy. I mean, not that big a deal as far as seam lines go, and because it's such a simple one, I think, and because it's like the only one on the kit that in the review, how to fix that, I'm sure you guys can figure it out on your own. It does seem like a pretty simple one to remove, but I think I'll include that in the review. How to fix the seam line on that, because it's the only one in the kit and it's a pretty easy one to remove, so might as well just include that in the video, I suppose. Just too whack. Yeah, it's an easy seam line to work with. You will have to modify the elbow joint, unfortunately, and this part here as well too. But that seems like that'll be a pretty easy fix. And there's no detail here, it's just a big flat surface, so that's the kind of the easiest thing to do. So, alright, let's just finish this up here. That goes like that. And this one here. And in there? Why you no go in there? Come on, lazy. Come on, why is this part not fitting in here? Lorenz, do I have a color scheme in mind? Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? If you're talking to me, if I have a color scheme in mind for this kit, no. As I was mentioning earlier, I think maybe before you got into the chat, I think the reason this is not going on is because this part's not on there all the way. Is it? Yeah, I don't have any color scheme in mind because I haven't thought about painting this kit up right away, but on kits like this, where there's like no seamline work to be done on them, so like the prepping them for painting would be a pretty quick process. It's very tempting for me to add it into my paint queue because I know it'd be a pretty quick one. So as I'm building it, I'm thinking more and more to maybe paint this one up straight away, but I don't know. Not thinking about it too seriously quite yet, just kind of thinking about it a little bit. Speedball Haro said, did you see Supernova's reveal of the new heavy arms? Yes, I did see that. No plans to buy it though. I'm so disappointed when I found out that the Gym Interceptor's backpack, which literally makes it the Gym Interceptor, was P Bandai. Yes. How does this go in here? Ah, these are different. I thought this part was symmetrical, but it's not. There you go. So basically the yellow stickers for this kit are all just for like little bits around the piping, which are very easy pieces to mask, so that's good. So not only is it very minimal in the seam lines, it's also very minimal in the masking. That is if you want to go for like the official colors, of course. Obviously if you're doing something custom, then it doesn't matter. Oh, that sticker is not really on there right though. But alright. And that goes on top of there. How exactly? With the larger side pointed out. Alex said, good evening from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Good evening. Not too far from my hometown in Illinois. Let's see. Currently in the middle of seamline hell with the HG Arm Blood Orphans Kamaras Vidar. Yeah, those kits do have a lot of seam lines. Would to have only one seam line. We would love to have only one. Yes, yeah. The HG Arm Blood Orphans kits, as great as they are very seam line heavy. And why isn't this part fitting onto there? Come on. What the? Why is this not fitting onto here? There we go. There. That whole come on lazy thing, I feel like I should give you guys the backstory on that because it's kind of funny. When I was in Hong Kong, this was maybe like when did I go to Hong Kong? 2012, I want to say. Yeah, I think maybe 2012. I went to Hong Kong with my friend just for a vacation, and we were hiking there. I know hiking in Hong Kong maybe sounds a bit surprising if you guys have ever been, or just if you ever thought about Hong Kong, probably haven't thought of it as a hiking destination. But outside of the city, there's places to hike, and it's pretty nice. So we were hiking one day. Uh, the only day that we went hiking there. We only went hiking one day while we were there. Anyway, we were hiking and we were up on this mountain, and we were at like this kind of, I don't know if it was like the top of the mountain or just anyway at a peak where there was a lot of people just like resting and stuff, and there was a guy there who was like what do you call that, where it's like sitting in like this motorized thing. It's like this motorized sort of cart thing without any wheels or whatever, and it's got like the big parachute, so it's like flying around and he's like sitting in the thing. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, that's not important to the story. The point is, we were up there and we were just kind of chilling out because we'd just been on the hike all the way up, and we took the bus to there to where to get off to start our hike. And it was only once we got off the bus there that we realized neither of us had brought any water. Like I had like one bottle in my backpack, which was like half full. So we had like 1/2 a water bottle for the two of us for like a 4-hour hike. So that was fun. We were dying, and then like fortunately halfway down the mountain on the other side there was like a mini restaurant kind of stop area where they were selling like, of course, ramen, like instant noodles and stuff, and they had water bottles, of course, and other drinks and stuff, so it was fine. But whilst we were at the top and taking a rest, there was another family there, and I don't know where they were from, but they were speaking English anyway. They were Westerners like us. Just there on vacation, I suppose. Well, I don't know. Anyway, and the mom and son were like sitting down and like taking a rest or something. And the dad like said to the wife, I don't know why, the dad was like, "Come on, lazy," telling her, and then like that just became the joke for like, it was one of those things, you know, where you're with your friends and like something funny happens and it just becomes a joke that you just repeat again and again. So for like the rest of the trip, we were just kept saying to each other anytime anyone wanted to like not do something or just like sit down, even for like the briefest moment or something, we'd just say, "Come on, lazy." It's just so weird. Like one of those things, like in that situation, like why is this dad saying, "Come on, lazy," after this wife or kid, whoever he was saying it to, like had just been up this hike, up like a 2-hour hike up the mountain here. 2 hours is not like, I don't know, I mean, it's not like hiking Everest, but it was just so strange, funny at the time. I guess it's one of those things where you had to be there, sorry. But and probably just more funny just because we kept it going as a joke for the rest of the time. Ever since then, I'll always say, "Come on, lazy." It was definitely not a dad joke, because that's the thing. He didn't say it, like he didn't sound like he was saying it in a joking way. I think that was funny. Like he sounded like he was seriously saying, "Come on, lazy." So if he was just saying it like as like a dad joke or something, I don't think it would have been like that funny to us, or we probably wouldn't have even like really noticed it that much. But it's only because he said it like in a serious way, like one of those like one of those sports active dads who like pushes his family to be like active as well too, you know what I mean? This thing's got some massive hands on it too. Hopefully, finally caught one of my live streams. Well, glad you could make it. Glad you could catch the stream. I recently saw, I think like a few days ago or something, there was a thread going on Facebook. Once again, one of the usual threads of like people talking about their favorite Gunpla content creators. And I had seen someone said about me, they had said something like too much non-Gunpla talk, or too much, I can't remember exactly. It was very weirdly worded, but just he said something about like too much of not Gunpla stuff, and I didn't know what he was talking about. If he was talking about like, meant like during my live streams I talk about other non-Gunpla related things too much, which I mean it's a live stream. What do you want me to talk about? Just I can't talk about just only Gunpla stuff for like an hour and a half. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. Or if he meant like just like on my YouTube channel, like reviewing other non-Gundam kits, like Frame Arms Girl kits or something like that, that he didn't like. I don't know exactly what the guy was saying he didn't like about non-Gunpla, too much non-Gunpla stuff. But I wondered about that. Thank you, Josh. I like this shirt as well too. Yes, it's about to be done. Sorry to say. Head sculpt is looking like Samus. Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit kind of, especially like Metroid Fusion sort of, where it had a little bit kind of like more bulbous shape, maybe rounded shape to her head and everything. A Death Wish shirt. No Death Wish shirt today. I've got a few, but not on this day. Let's see. And speaking of non-Gundam related things to talk about, I'll give you guys an update. The past few live streams, or like the past couple weeks, I've been telling you guys that I've been watching the 100, the TV series, and here on Netflix in Korea, they have just seasons 1 through 5. So I thought that that's all there was. So I finished season 5. And then I went online to check. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna make any more, because it seemed like it was kind of the end. But I was just wondering, are they gonna make any more or whatever? And turns out there's a season 6 and 7. They're in the middle of season 7 right now. So I thought, oh no. So now I really want to see the rest. I've only seen through. Season 5 is all they have here on Netflix Korea, so hopefully I'm guessing maybe what's gonna happen, hopefully, fingers crossed, is like once season 7 ends, which I guess is gonna be the end. I read online that it's supposed to be season 7 is the last one, but so hopefully maybe after that's done, they'll add season 6 and 7 onto Netflix here in Korea. But hopefully, otherwise I've got to find another way to watch that, because now I want to watch it. And I was kind of like ready for it to be done. I'd watched 5 seasons, and I was like, okay, I can be done watching this if this is the end. And it ended, and I thought, okay, like, that's a pretty fine ending. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what season 6 and 7 are gonna be like, because I don't know, it should be interesting now that they're I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I don't know if anyone's watching it, but yeah, now that the situation has changed after season 5, so that's pretty interesting. So while I'm waiting to watch those, I started watching The Walking Dead. Now the kid is kind of done. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna talk about some TV stuff I'm watching now for the last few minutes before we end the stream for today. So if all you cared about the build, all you cared to watch was the build, then thanks for watching. Bye. I'm just gonna talk a little bit about The Walking Dead now. But yeah, also seamline here on the rifle too, unfortunately, here and here. and here. Again, pretty expected for an HG kit, but still a really cool rifle design. So yeah, The Walking Dead. I don't understand, at least at this point, kind of, I mean, I do and I don't understand how the show got so popular. Because, like, watching it, I just feel like it's very generic zombie movie, but is a TV show. And I was talking about this as well with the guys in the Discord recently. And I actually don't think that I knew this. I don't think that I knew that it was based off of a comic or a graphic novel or whatever. But it is, apparently, so I guess that's probably adds to what's going to make it more popular. But yeah, it's like the acting, I think the acting is maybe getting a little bit better, so that's good. But at least for like the first part, what the hell? At least for the first season, and then like into the second, I just finished the second season of The Walking Dead, so I should make that clear. And Jim says the rest went downhill from there. Oh no. Because the season 1 and 2, I mean, like, it's fine, but I don't really feel I'm watching anything different than just the standard zombie movie. So, I don't know. And I love how, like, half the cast is straight out of The Mist. I think there's, like, 3 characters are from The Mist. There's and this is the problem, too. I noticed this while I was watching this series. I was, like, probably 8 or 9 episodes in when I was thinking, like, I don't think I can remember any of the main characters' names. Like, 7 or 8 or episodes in, yeah, when I was having this thought. Like, I could remember maybe 1 or 2 names, and the other ones I couldn't even recall anyone's names from the series. So I was thinking, that's not very, doesn't bode well. But anyway, yeah, from the Mist, what was it? The shaved head lady, she was in The Mist, wasn't she? I'm pretty sure. And then the guy in the RV. See, I can't even remember their names now, too. Now I'm all finished with season 2. What's the lady's name? Mallory? Is that right? Carol? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the boy's name. Carl! Yeah, Carol is the lady, right? The shaved head lady. She was in The Mist. I'm pretty sure. Either that or I'm sure I've seen her in some Stephen King movie before. The Frank Darabont wrote The Mist and writes for The Walking Dead. Okay, well that makes sense why he used some of the same actors. But yeah, and then the RV guy, Dale? Yeah, Dale. Dale was also in The Mist. And I was thinking there was one more I was thinking too. I don't remember now. But the lady, what's her name? Starts with an A. The one who tried to blow herself up, or tried to stay in the CDC place and get blown up. Not Adrian. Andrea, right? That's good. Andrea. She was also in The Mist. So that was really funny because I like The Mist. I actually quite like that movie. It's cheesy, like Stephen King movie. It's not usually very good, but I like it. Yeah, so that was. And Norman Reedus is fine too. Yeah, I mean he's good. He's probably, I don't know, probably my favorite character, I guess, in it. But he's just not really in it that much. I think that probably, based on what I just on what I know of the series and how famous he is as being part of the series, he's probably in it more so in the later seasons. But at least in season 1 and 2, I mean, he was not in it that much. And still wondering about when his brother is gonna come back, because I feel like he's going to. Like, they set it up that he escaped in like one of the first couple episodes, right? That he escaped off the rooftop, stole the van, and everything, and then never showed up. Like, he stole the van. I was expecting him to then drive the van back to the camp, right? But he never showed back up at the camp. So I don't know. Is his brother ever gonna come back or not? Don't spoil it for me. But I'm just wondering that, and it seems like at this point maybe he's not going to. But it's very strange that they would set it up that way and then for him to never come back. He came back as like a vision to Norman Reedus's character, right? Yeah, season 2 is the one on Herschel's farm, yes. So I don't know. And my other biggest problem with it too is just that the main character, Rick, I'm not convinced by Rick at all. He just is not, that is some bad casting. He just is not an actor that I can believe is like a badass in any way. He just looks like such a nerd. Like, it just doesn't look like a badass character. They keep trying to portray him as like this badass cowboy cop, southern cowboy cop, and he's just like not at all. I just don't see it at all. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm watching it and like I'm enjoying it enough to keep watching it. It's fine, but I really don't. I'm really thinking like, man, how did this series get to be so popular? It's because he's English. That would make sense, I guess. He's a British actor. Oh my. Sorry, no offense to any of you Brits out there, but I can see that it totally makes sense. Oh man. Anyway. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll keep watching it for a while. I'm glad that, again, I guess this is spoilers, but it seems like a lot of you guys have already seen it. I'm the only one that hasn't seen it yet. That, what's his name just died. Was just killed. Rick's friend. The other guy who seems like he's from New Jersey, but with a southern accent. The guy with the big schnoz. His co-policeman. Anyway, I won't spend too much time talking about that because what are my thoughts on the kid now? Shane, yes, thank you. Shane, yeah. I'm glad that he's dead. Obviously, I think that's the point. He was portrayed. You weren't supposed to like him as a character, so I think everyone was kind of glad that he was dead, but. The Punisher. Oh yeah, I guess he's the actor who played the Punisher. I didn't watch that either, but I've seen trailers or whatever for that. So is he actually from New Jersey? Because he looks like he should be from like New York or New Jersey. Somewhere around there. But if he's actually, like if that southern accent is real, which I find hard to believe, that's it certainly doesn't look like he's from the South. Let me just check the manual. The shield connector doesn't fit on the back of the arm. It seems like it's supposed to, but it doesn't. So am I doing something wrong or what? Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to, but it doesn't. He's born in DC. Anyway, he looks like a New York, New Jersey Italiano kind of guy, but with a southern accent. It's very jarring. So there you go. I got it, but like it really barely squeezes on there. That shield connector on the side of the arm, and then this shoulder part is having some problems. The shoulder is like crashing into the shield as well too. You're going to have to hold the shield in a way so that like it's not colliding with the shoulder armor. That's kind of annoying. But yeah, only seamline is the one on the back of the arm there. The articulation is amazing. It's got like a full bend there at the elbow. Really nice bend here at the knee and everything too as well too. Check this out. Yes, I have to hold it up so you guys can see it. Sorry. where over here, the bend there, the separation of that part there to bend, the ab crunch, that's pretty nice. That's really nice actually. That front skirt armor though, man, they really should have designed that front skirt armor in a different way, because it falls off when you're moving the legs every which way. Also, the thigh armor here, when you move the thigh armor, I'm noticing that this armor keeps separating there. Not a big deal, but just something to note. So anyway, that's my basic thoughts on the kit. I'll work on the review for this probably tomorrow. The rest of today I'm going to be working on a different review, just editing that. I recorded 2 days ago, yesterday or 2 days ago. And then working on panel lining on the resin God Gundam. This guy I'll work on the review for tomorrow, but definitely a really cool kit. Very thick, very chunk, and if you like the design, go for it. I guess there is another seamline on the side of the head as well, if you want to count that. The K-Hard 2. Oh yeah, I need to review that as well too. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Review that and this. I don't know. I haven't recorded the review for that yet. Need to do that still. Anyway, there you go. That is the what are we building here? The Messer. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for having a chat. Thanks for listening to me ranting about TV shows as well too, and filling me in on some stuff about The Walking Dead. I'll let you guys know in the next live stream how far I'm progressing into season 3 and if my thoughts changed on it at all. But it's good enough to have it on while I'm working on building stuff. So that'll be it for today, guys. I'll see you later. Bye bye. See ya.